Level 1. You wake up knowing where the next price will go. Not a guess. A pattern. A small hidden lever. You test it with a single trade. The market answers like a muscle you can flex. It ripples outward. A ticker blinks brighter than before. You hold your breath, then you smile. You think, this is impossible. And yet, your signal repeats. It's not magic. It's an exploit. An overlooked connection between people, tech, and timing. You are careful, one step at a time. You learn the language of the market's private veins. You learn the quiet hours. You learn which orders move who. And you learn how little it takes to whisper and watch the crowd follow. The power feels small at first, an edge in a sea of noise. A ripple becomes a wave. Your balance grows. So does the weight of what you know. You begin to imagine what else you could do, calmly, deliberately. But there is a line between having power and being consumed by it. You can feel it under your skin. You keep walking. You are not naive. You are attentive. You imagine using this thing for good. Level 2. You map the mechanics. It's technical, but your brain is a muscle now. You track latency. You study order types. You learn hidden liquidity, dark pools, and the choreography of algos. You discover a sequence, a timing gap in a popular exchange, a relay delay in a broker's routing, a predictable reaction from high-frequency traders. You create a tiny disturbance at hour X. A chain of automated responses unfurls. Stop losses cascade. Liquidity thins. Prices spike or sink. You amplify the move. You place counter orders on the other side. You harvest the imbalance. You do it again. Each attempt refines the map. You build scripts that speak the market's secret dialect. They're efficient, cold, obedient. You set thresholds and alerts. You sleep more easily because the system runs for you. But you also feel the intimacy of knowing how people's wealth can be nudged. You see the pattern of headlines following your trades. You learn the quiet hours when retail investors are most vulnerable. You watch funds reposition. You understand the network effect. The more nodes you touch, the larger the effect. You keep your identity quiet. You keep your method hidden. Because once anyone else sees the hinge, they will rush to pry it open. You tighten the screws. Level 3. You begin to notice faces behind the charts. Not literal faces, but stories. A young parent selling to meet rent, an old investor moving to protect a retirement, a fund manager crying into the phone after a margin call. Your actions ripple into these lives. Every percent move is a story. You didn't intend harm. You only wanted to test causality, to see if systems could be mastered. But knowing is different from being innocent. You feel the moral weight. Sometimes you justify it. The market is amoral. Everyone plays by rules or finds loopholes. But then one of your moves halves someone's position. You get a quiet email from a trader who lost a client. You read it and realize that the detachment of numbers hides human consequence. You are forced to ask, who are you doing this for? For curiosity? For profit? For power? You examine your motives like a ledger. The answer's messy. You begin to imagine boundaries, rules you could follow that keep harm minimized. Maybe transparency, maybe limits, maybe restitution when your moves cause outsized damage. You test a small policy on yourself, fewer shocks, slower gains. It soothes you for a while, but not everyone chooses restraint when given the key. Level 4. Word leaks, a slip, a boast, a misdirected message. Markets smell opportunity like a storm smells pressure. Others come to see the hinge you found. Some are subtle and careful. Some are ruthless. The market becomes a theater. Predators circle. Your edge narrows. Competition changes the rules in real time. Algorithms adapt. Exchanges patch vulnerabilities. Regulators sniff patterns. News cycles amplify every suspicious move. You discover an ugly truth. Secrets in complex systems are temporary. They last until they don't. The more people use the exploit, the less effective it becomes, and the more damage it causes to ordinary participants. A cascading failure feels like a puzzle solved by dozens of clever blind hands. Liquidity vanishes. Confidence fractures. You watch indices wobble. You watch small players disappear. You think of the young parent and the retired investor again. The cost of discovery is no longer theoretical, and you must decide whether to escalate, conceal, or retreat. Your options narrow with every headline. Level 5. You consider escape routes. You consider confession. You consider building something better from the knowledge you gained. You imagine a system where asymmetries are closed, not exploited. You could give the map to regulators. You could publish the method and watch the world patch itself. You could monetize the fix and fund restitution, or you could double down. The temptation is enormous. Fame and fortune sit like fruit within arm's reach. You weigh the future of your life against the immediate taste of victory. You make a decision in a quiet room. You make it not because you are noble, but because you want something else. To sleep without the weight of ruin on your conscience, you reach out to someone you trust, a compliance lawyer, a former regulator, an old mentor. You talk. You learn the contours of accountability. You outline a plan. Disclose selectively. Propose patches. Provide data. Accept scrutiny. It is messy. It is expensive. It is often slower than greed, but it has one benefit. It scales stability. It reduces the number of people whose lives can be flipped by a single button. You also set personal rules. No more market shocks, transparency where possible, and a fund set aside to help those harmed. You sign the paperwork. You breathe. Level 6 years later, you are not a puppet master. You are someone who found a crack and chose to seal it. Markets change. They learn to be more resilient. Your secret becomes a lesson. It shows up in new exchange rules and in the education of new traders. You sometimes miss the thrill, but you do not miss the guilt. You still trade, but you trade differently. You advise stability projects. You teach younger players about the cost of hidden edges. They listen or they don't. Change is uneven, but the world nudges toward less fragility. You find solace in small things. A dinner without the buzz of a dozen alerts. A call answered without thinking about slippage. You think about the power to move markets. It was intoxicating. It was terrifying. And it taught you something profound. Control is rarely pure. It always costs someone else something. The real achievement is not being able to move prices. It is being able to look at the market and say, "We made this safer." Knowing you smile at that. You are quieter now. You are steadier. And when you watch a market calm after a storm, you feel a small private pride because you once held a secret lever and you chose to lock it away.